All right. Hey, everyone. Thanks for joining us on tonight's team call after Summit. So lots of information, lots of excitement. If you're coming back from Summit, I'm sure you all feel like you're hungover and you don't know how you're going to get through tomorrow. But I promise you, you'll start to kind of get your balance back per se. But don't think you have to implement everything at one time. I think I've been to 6 summits. This would have been my seventh if I went. But don't think you have to do everything all at once. Definitely just implement one thing at a time. Or if it's just one thing that you are going to implement, that's all you need, right? Don't overwhelm yourselves. And even with tonight's team call, I'm sure we might hear some of the same info, some of the same tips from Summit, but just take one thing from tonight's call and see if it's going to work for you. So don't feel like, oh my God, there's so much information. What am I going to do with all this? Keep it calm, whatever that saying is, keep calm and you'll be okay. Really quick, I did want to go over announcements and then we'll kind of, this is going to be a cool call. Everyone will get to talk and it's not going to be, anything fancy. First off, the Summit hotel tickets. The Summit hotels are open tomorrow for everybody. And when I went to go do the hotel 2 days ago, everything was pretty much sold out already. But corporate did tell us today that a lot of people who got to get their hotels early got 4 or 5 or 6. And then what happens is a month or two later, people change their minds. And especially, we're a year out until next summit. So if you go tomorrow to choose a hotel and everything's sold out, please don't freak out. There will be more that's opening, but do get on the wait list. So tomorrow, everyone should get an email with the link to the hotels. Get on the wait list. And they said 99% chance that you're going to be able to get a room because a lot of people are going to drop because, the excitement, people are like, let me get 10 hotel rooms. And they said also to call. So if there's not a hotel on the list from Beachbody or even what I did, it said that it was booked, but I called the hotel and I was able to get the Beachbody rate and they worked it all out. So if you don't want to get on the wait list, you can always call around to different hotels as well. So that's tomorrow. It's open to anybody to get the New Orleans hotel room. I don't know how long they're going to do the Summit ticket for next year, but it's on sale. I forget what the sale price is, but I already got my ticket and I'm not having another baby until then, or probably ever, but I will be there. Morning Meltdown is now available to everybody. So coaches and customers can get the pre-sale. Just know that those 10 workouts that the coaches had before are now gone. So if you go and somebody asked us in our team page today, where'd those other 10 workouts go? They got wiped out just because now customers can purchase. And that was kind of just a special thing they did for us coaches to kind of test it a little bit more. So July 29th is when everything will kind of be, start getting loaded on. So just be aware of that. Oh, Energize has a special offer price. See, I didn't even know that. All right, cool. Special Energize Collagen Boost is now available. I'm super excited. Hopefully I'll get mine this week. It'll come in the mail. Hopefully Amazon Prime Day doesn't screw the mail up because I think I got 30 boxes coming to my house. The Beachbody Activewear Essentials is also on sale. Make sure you look at that stuff because it's going fast. Coach Summit Recap is all there. If you didn't look in your email yet, please do to see if you got those promo codes. Like I said, I'm all over the place. I don't know exactly who's going to get it. Oh, here we go. New and active coaches will get promo codes for $10 off. I know if you're a master coach for either 2B Mindset or Ultimate Portion Fix, you also get promo codes. So I think these are super nice. Especially at the end of the month, hey, I have this special code. It's only until July 30th, whatever. So those are super cool that they started doing that. Super weekend, Super Saturday, Super Sunday is that weekend of July 26th, 27th, or 28th. If you're in the Philly area, obviously we're going to have Jericho. She's going to be there with us doing the workout. So even if you have to travel, like, I think it's totally worth it to come to Philly with us. I think, I don't know, we'll have like at least 100 of us there. If not, definitely just get to one. Even I feel like you went to Summit and you're like, man, these two things are like so close together. I think it's just a really nice way to kind of like take a little bit of a breath and kind of like get back into the game again. Because sometimes like you get that really high from Summit and then you come crashing down. But then Super Weekend, I think, is just a nice, like, okay, like I can do this type of thing. So make sure you get to that. All right. I don't think, obviously, Summit next year is in New Orleans. Oh, and then there's obviously lots of awesome things like 6 weeks of the work that will be in the fall. Pumpkin spice latte that will be in the fall. Beach bars. I don't know when that will be, coming soon. Peppermint mint mocha, that's going to be in the winter. A new Shakeology, not new Shakeology, but they're adding like a lot more different superfoods and more of like the really awesome ingredients into there. And then there's one other thing. What other new thing are they coming out with besides the beach bar? I don't know. Maybe it'll hit my head. But guys, like, they did this for a reason. There is something every single month, pretty much until the new year, for you to share with people. So if you're like, my business is dead, guess what? Go get some collagen. Go do MM100. Go, when all of this stuff launches, be a part of it. Don't just sit there and watch it happen. And it's not too late to get on board with MM100. If you're like, I'm kind of on the fence, like, it's never too late. Like, people don't know that it's, people outside of the Beachbody world, they don't know about this stuff. So even if it launches and you're still didn't get the ball rolling, summer happened, you're on vacation and you come back and you're like, it's like a week, 2 weeks late. Beachbody people, people who aren't Beachbody people, they don't know. So just launch it yourself, right? All right. So V is going to go first tonight. Let me stop sharing my screen. Yes, Wendy, the bar workout with Elise. That's going to be freaking huge. I mean, I know so many people who are like, I do the bar thing. And I think that will totally explode. So just know, like, we have so much awesome stuff coming up. So V, if you want to unmute yourself and share your whatever you want about Summit.
Thanks. Can you hear me okay? Okay. So I was in the more foundational, the Coach Up to Ruby group for the different sessions. And I have all the slides. If anybody wants them, I can share them with my notes. But the big thing that hit me is that I'm not posting properly. I'm not crafting it to tell a story the way I should be. So they gave some really good examples of what not to do and then how to improve that post. And those examples helped me a lot. They also had us pick, the 4 topics. All of this has been said before, but they had us write out 4 topics and they said, that's all you post about. Everything else goes in your stories. And you post first thing in the morning. The one lady's a high school teacher. She gets up at 4:30. She sits in the parking lot and she picks a word out of the PD that she listened to on her commute. And she doesn't go into school until she's done at least, her post for the day. And then if she does more, great. They also had us write out like 5 things of how we felt before Beachbody, and then what the explosion was, what the transformation was, and 5 things of how we feel now. And they're like, there's your journey. Every time you post, you should be sharing a piece of that or the entire journey, and look at it from the viewpoint of it's the first time someone's looking at your profile or doesn't know you, and how would they understand or view your post. So that was really helpful for me. A little bit of a review probably for other folks, but for me it was really helpful.
Awesome. And can you give like an example of like a post that you used to do and how you're going to change like your posts now? Like, what was like one thing that kind of like was like, like, that's what I do. Now I'm going to do it this way instead.
So a lot of times I just post a picture that I think is a decent picture, and I say something about it, and I might say like, come join me or whatever. But they actually challenge us to, by the end of the day, Sunday, do a post and tag them in it. So I did a transformation post talking about me getting dressed up and carrying a purse because that's not really my thing. And about how great the community was and how different it was for me and how much more confident I felt. So I kind of brought all those threads together a lot better than I think I normally do.
So kind of like sharing things about you that most people might know, might not know, and just kind of making it more personalized to you.
Yeah, and they kept saying that it's not about you, it's about your story, which was helpful for me because I don't like being the center of attention. And I kept kind of thinking, I had never taken a selfie before I started doing this. So,
No, me neither.
so I was like, what do you mean I have to put myself out there? So like, I think it was helpful for me when they kept saying it's about your story, not you, and put the
Cool.
focus on like crafting the post and making it funny and making it interesting to people. I know we keep saying adding value, but I think I didn't really understand how to do that.
Gotcha. And like some are going to be funny posts and others are going to be a little bit more serious, right?
Right.
Cool. Yeah. And if you can add those screenshots or the pictures
Yes.
that you took
Yeah.
in the team page.
There's a bunch of slides, so I'll put them in my Google Drive and then just send a link. Does that work?
Yeah, that's great. Yep. Awesome.
Okay, cool.
Thanks so much.
Sure.
All right. Who wants to be up next? We have a lot of people that went to Summit, so just unmute yourself and go for it.
I can go next.
Awesome, Lindsay.
Okay. All right. So I'm going to try not to cry during this because it's just a very powerful experience. But like I knew this was a powerful community, but being there and working out with 20,000 people and just seeing everybody be so vulnerable and cry on stage and talk about depression and anxiety and their suicidal thoughts and how Beachbody has helped them was just amazing to me. And this type of accepting community, I've never felt like I've belonged anywhere before, so I've never experienced this type of acceptance. So I think it just solidified what I'm doing is the right thing. And I'm actually going to put my doctorate on hold and pursue this instead because I think this is a lot more important to me now than it ever was. And I eventually do want to do this full time. So I think it changed my priorities and my goals. So for next year, I want to try to be a 1-star diamond. So that's my goal. So I think it really just remotivated me. I'm more confident now. So before I maybe reached out to 2 people to ask about coaching in like the 6 months that I've been doing this. And since I've been back, I've reached out to like 4 or 5 people already about coaching. But then the other big thing that I took away from it with the training was just better ideas of how to start recruiting coaches and onboarding people. Like they had an idea of creating a PowerPoint and then putting audio to it. And that way it's like an organized way you can send people information about what they could expect and what the responsibilities are. And then the other thing with personal development is they talked about how to live a value-driven life. So it's not because like if you're feeling stressed, it's not because you're too busy, it's because your life isn't lining up with your values. So I think that was a good check-in for me to like figure out like what's important to me and how can I carry that out in my life. And but yeah, there was just a lot of good information and it was truly life-changing. So I can't wait to go back next year.
Yay, I love that. So awesome. Do you think before like fear was holding you back, or what do you think was like that missing piece to kind of like bridge that gap of like you only reach out to 2 people about coaching in 6 months and now you like doubled that in 3 days?
Yeah. I think it was fear because like it's different reaching out to challengers. I don't know why. Like it is versus reaching out to like about coaching. So I think I really wanted to run with this motivation and like push past the fear because you guys are all here to back me up. And then the fear behind too, like wanting to pursue this full time is like I went to school and I got my master's and I'm getting my doctorate and I went to school for counseling and now I'm like changing everything up. But I decided like I don't really care anymore because I want to do what I want to do. And I think it goes back to the value-driven life. Like I don't want to do something just because I have done it so far. You know what I mean? Like I just want to do what's right for me now. So
Exciting. Yay. Cool. Can't wait to see you as a 1-star walking on the stage.
Thank you.
Awesome. Who wants to be up next? Adriana, you want to go?
Yeah, I'll go.
You're good.
Okay, can you guys hear me okay? Okay. Okay, so this was my first time at Summit. I learned so much, and I feel like I took a ton of notes, and I'm really glad that I did, because I know I'm going to read over them over and over again just to refresh my memory, because I learned so many little nuggets. One thing that I really took to heart was actually before Summit, I went to the Josh Coates training, The Power of I Am. And he had on his panel a woman named Andrea Crowder, who was actually the original founder of that event. And what she said really spoke to me and had a lot to do with it's not about what you're doing, it's about who you are as a person. And leading a good influence and not focusing on what you're doing it, but why you're doing it and how you're doing it is going to draw people to you. And it's kind of about if you are leading by example, that people will naturally want to follow you. So that was really inspiring to me. And just throughout the weekend, I was hearing from so many different people about, overcoming the fears that they had of inviting and fears of talking to people and talking about coaching. So I know that I'm not the only one who feels that way. So that was really affirming to hear that a lot of people had those same obstacles to overcome. And, they've gotten to a certain point where they're comfortable and doing really well with the business. So many good things that I learned. The Rachel Hollis, she was amazing. She talked a lot about, just taking action, whether you know exactly what you're doing or not, just the importance of taking action. And if you feel like you don't know everything, all the information that you need is out there in the world. You just need to go find it. And, if it's something that you really want, you will take action and get there. Also, I got to attend the Diamond and Above leadership sessions, even though I'm not that ranked, but I was attending as Ashley, so I got to go in her place. So I got to get some information about, sharing more about coaching. Of course, people know that I'm on a fitness journey, but do they know what I do as a coach? And probably not, because I'm not really sharing that side of the business as much as I should be. So I need to share more about coaching in order to draw people who want to work the business to me. So those were some of the things that I took with me, to share more about coaching, to just kind of go for it and do it in a way that feels right for me.
Awesome. What are you doing this week to get, are you inviting more people to coaching? Are your posts going to be more geared towards coaching, or what's your action?
Actually, like when I first got home, I wrote out a schedule for the rest of the month, and I wrote down each day what I want to post about, so that I don't feel overwhelmed and don't have a topic to talk about. Today, I actually invited 2 friends to join coaching, and one of them said that she's ready because she's been following me for a while now, so I feel like it was the right time for her. So that's like super exciting and gets me really pumped up. And so yeah, I think I need to share more about coaching itself, and also do a better job, like V said, to share my story. So that's my plan of action.
Awesome. Love it. Great job. All right. Who wants to go next?
I'll go. Oh. 2 of us. I'll can you guys hear me?
Yeah, Wendy, you go, and then Carrie, you can go next.
Okay. sorry, I'm stuck on my phone, so I can't see everybody. Because if you guys saw, my laptop is at the Philly airport. So, so my takeaways were more. It was kind of like accumulation of things leading up to Summit, being there, and just kind of a series of events. So, my takeaway was just to really see yourself as a leader from day one. From day one, you sign your customers up, you sign your coaches up, and you're their leader from the start. And I was really good at kind of just like hiding back in the shadows. I was stuck at Emerald for a while, and I was kind of comfortable there. And then I really was just kind of blending myself in with my coaches and with my challengers instead of being a leader and showing up and doing the things that I needed to be for them. When I got to Summit, literally the day of the opening ceremony, I dropped down to Emerald. And that was kind of like a big thing for me because this year I was in the leadership track for the Diamonds. And as I began sitting there, I just felt like the whole time, like I don't really belong there. Here I am, I'm sitting at Emerald. And as I began listening to the leaders in all the different workshops, you know, a lot of times they'll share how they drop rank, and it's not really about your rank. It's about what you're doing and what you're showing up as. So my thing was, you need to show up for your coaches, for your challengers, and then show them what they need to be doing by doing it yourself. And I was really good at doing that for my challengers, but not for my coaches. Like I would kind of just be like, oh yeah, I'm busy too. I don't always do the things I need to do. Instead of, you know, kind of sitting down with them and being like, okay, this is what I'm doing. This is what you need to be doing. And just showing up for them and showing them the way that they kind of need to be doing things to be successful. And I kind of just had that moment with, yeah, well, duh, no wonder you're not getting anywhere because you're not showing them what they need to be doing because you're not doing it yourself. And I mean, there were so many good things from Summit. And I have tons of slides too, but a lot of it was what Adriana and Dee said about just making sure you're sharing your authentic stories and you're taking the focus off of you. Another good thing I also learned was about some more information from challenge groups, because I think a big common theme has been lately that a lot of our challenge groups have been a little stagnant. And the one, I learned so much, but just the one key thing I liked that they shared that they were doing was they make it, a lot of us have ongoing challenge groups. And instead of just continuing, making your challengers reapply every month, redoing their goals, recommitting to what they're doing instead of just letting them kind of slide in. And yeah, that's kind of it.
That's a really good tip. No, for the challengers is to have them kind of show up if they want to be in the next group.
Right. It wasn't just like keeping them in there, letting them kind of just sit back, but it was they have to reapply. What are you doing? You have to have, another thing was they have to have order something every month.
Okay.
Like showing that they're on Shakeology or doing Energize. There has to be some skin in the game.
Yep. Love that. Awesome.
Wendy, if they don't order or they don't recommit, do they get kicked out of the group or like what happens?
I have it on a separate set of notes, but and I'm gonna share the whole thing, Ashley, on our Elevation Nation call on Monday. But there's a group where it's like they called it the dead zone or some like name that you don't want to be put into, where it's still a group and there's like tidbits in there, but it's really called like the dead zone, or just it's like you don't want to be put in the dead zone. You want to be put in back in the ongoing group.
I wonder if we could use like the prep group that Jess made to like.
Yeah, something like that. But the name wasn't appealing at all. I
that sounds horrible.
But it was like, it literally was like the dead zone or the going nowhere or something.
Going nowhere. You're a big fat loser.
Yeah. Self-paced. There you go. Thanks, Carrie. Yeah, she was under the self-paced group.
I know some coaches used to like, they did this for coaches who weren't like hitting their goal. They would put them in like a message thread and send them like gross, like scary pictures. And then if they hit their goal, they would take them like out of the message thread. So it kind of reminded me of that, is like, you can kind of make it funny where you're like putting stuff in that group. I don't know.
Yeah, so it's
It's something
self-paced.
different.
Okay, it's not as bad as Dead Zone. Maybe I was thinking that in my mind, and that, but it's like the way they were describing it made it sound like that's where people, you don't want to be there.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Awesome. Thanks, Wendy.
Yeah.
Carrie, you're up.
Okay. All right. So I definitely have like some business tips and stuff I can share, but I first have to start with just like the overall experience and feelings, because above all of the great things that I heard that I needed to hear, and like a lot of what people are saying now, it's just the experience that I think is so powerful. I walked away from that. I'm trying not to get emotional too, but like it's real people and real stories. And so much of this business, you're behind a computer, or for me, I'm like home all day with 3 little kids, and you know, I'm talking to people in messages or in challenge groups and things like that. But to be with people and hear real people talk about their success stories is just so powerful. The last night, the people I was sitting with, I think we were all just crying the entire time, because people's stories are powerful and it's real, and it's not just, oh, like you're a Beachbody coach or it's another marketing, you know, because everybody's selling something. So I think going into it, my mindset, I kind of was in this place of like, can I really be successful doing this? And, you know, what are people really thinking about me being a Beachbody coach? And I left there like, I'm a freaking Beachbody coach, and I am so proud. So when people ask me now what I do, I'm going to tell them, and I'm not going to like downplay it. All right. So that kind of spurs from that last night. Tony Horton received this Lifetime Achievement Award. And, you know, he kind of started it all with Carl. So they went back and they told that whole story. And we heard Tony's story about, you know, how he was just living in like some crappy apartment in LA, and he was like a class clown his whole life. And he was doing like some acting things, and he started getting into training and had some success doing that with like some celebrities and stuff. And they just talked about the story of how him and Carl came together and how it just turned into this thing. And that was 20 years ago, and all of the amazing things that have happened with Beachbody since then. So Tony Horton's story was just like incredible, and to see it in person and to see him recognized for that. And then of course that same night you're seeing the Beachbody Challenge winners, where, you know, it's this one guy who had these 2 little girls who pretty much like was going to die, like he was sick, and then to watch him on stage alive and well and vibrant and taking home $100,000 was just insane. They also show that night all of the coaches getting the calls that they have earned elite. Is that me?
Kristen or Carrie, I think I don't know. I don't hear you anymore.
Okay. Can you hear me now?
Yes. Sorry.
I wasn't muted the whole time, was I?
No, I think after Tony, and then you said elite, and then
Elite.
after.
Okay. Yeah. So I was just saying, you see all the coaches that earned elite, and they're real people, and you see the real emotions, and you see that they worked hard for where they are. So they're real people. It's not just like, oh, I'm an elite coach. It's a real thing that we can all do. And then lastly, the other part is like our teammates, our team that we don't always get to see, and the connection. And like, we had so much fun. It was ridiculous. Like, so much fun, so much connection. So like, if you haven't bought a summit ticket yet, you have to. This was my second one, and I had a great experience last time, but this was just like exactly what I needed at the right time. And you've heard from all the other people, like different things they took away. You're going to hear what you need to hear to move your business forward. And then just to share, so that's like my biggest thing. And it's kind of going along with what Lindsay was sharing, of just like the experience of it. And that's why it's so important to be there. But business things, so I was in the same one as Wendy, like the Diamond 1-star track, which I think was a really good idea. Because again, I think you have a better chance of hearing what you need in your business. But I heard a lot of really good things about how to earn income, how important 2-star is to get that second business center. And you basically are just making, they called it the pinball effect, but like, so it will go through your husband and then your second business center and then you. So you're making so much more money by no extra work. And also the way they worded it, that basically you're signing up your best all-star coach ever. You're signing up the person that you know you can rely on. So that definitely, you know, put that in my head. And also just in terms of, so if you have coaches, now what do you do with them? I think I've overthought it for a long time, and just to kind of like to simplify it. And another good tip that stuck with me that I think is a good kind of like visual is to break your month in half, and you make sure you hit Success Club or whatever your numbers are that you want to hit in your business by the 15th of the month. And then you spend the second half of the month working with your coaches and making sure they're hitting, and just the importance of making sure your coaches are successful and coming with you, and not just, you know, you're leading by example. I'm doing what I'm supposed to. Come on, do it. But you need to mentor too. And, you know, like things like doing one-on-one calls or putting them in like message pods and different things to really help your coaches and simplify it. Okay, I think I'm done.
How can you sum up like 3 days in like 5 minutes? You did great. Thanks, Carrie. Erin's gonna go next.
Okay. So Summit was awesome. I was in the Coach to Ruby track, and like kind of like Carrie said, I really like how they actually divided it up, because you heard what was really most applicable to you. And for the Coach to Ruby track, it was about more so telling your story, sharing your story, and how to basically how to recruit your coaches and to help build them up. And one of my biggest takeaways was during one of the sessions where she talked about knowing who you are and who you want to help. Because I know a lot of times, especially me, I'll get stuck in the trap of, I want to help everyone. It's like someone says, yes, I want help, I need your help, and I'll just go. But at the same time, I can't relate, and they can't necessarily relate to me. They just see what I offer. So it's like, how can, you know, even though I want to help, can I connect them with a different coach? And what do I need to do to attract individuals who I can help, who are like me, basically, and who I can help to build up potentially as a coach. So much. Brain's kind of going crazy right now. Sorry, looking at notes. Yeah, one of the quotes that I copied down from the weekend was, seats will fill up with the people who see something in you that they want to grow into, with the people who are meant to be there. So I learned that I really have to be a little bit more decisive in who I'm adding to social media, you know, looking at individuals basically who fit my tribe, and not just, you know, adding people arbitrarily just because I can. And I mean, it's along with that, a big takeaway for me was storytelling. Like, I post a lot, including memes and pictures of my cats. And yeah, that's one part of my life, but not so much the memes, more so the cats. But, you know, I have to share my story more, and not just the, you know, the nice, pretty parts of it. You know, sharing that things don't always go according to plan, such as my Chris Downing post that I had this weekend. You know, things don't always go to plan. Life isn't always going to be great, but turning that moment of just, you know, total bust, showing where the positive can come in, not in like the sickeningly sweet, you know, happy-go-lucky, you know, hurrah story, but like, hey, this sucked, this happened, but here's how I'm going to get over it, and here's how I'm looking to turn this. Rachel Hollis was awesome. Jade Simmons is like my spirit animal. She was rapping, playing piano, had some sick beats, and I completely connected because she talked about how leaders don't micromanage. I'm not, you can't be over somebody's shoulder 24/7. Hey, did you do this? Hey, did you do this? Hey, did you do this? As a leader, your job is to take those different skill sets. They may not be up to the level that you think they should be, but don't nitpick at them. Instead, help them to grow their skills. You come in, you help to build them up, to make them stronger with the skill set that they have, so that later on they're not fully dependent on, hey, what do I do? Hey, what do I do? Hey, what do I do? So, I really got that big takeaway from Jade Simmons. But that's good.
Love it. Awesome. Thank you. We have, I would say, time for like 2 more people. If we keep it to like 5 minutes each. Who wants to share?
I'll go.
Awesome. Mallory,
Okay.
You're up.
So it was my second summit, and I've actually been at the same rank for both summits. I had set a goal to rank advanced by this one and did not hit it. So when I went, I've been consistent, been working hard in the business, but I feel like I've been not doing the most productive things. Like I've definitely been working. And so it was kind of eye-opening because, yes, I post on social media every day. Yes, I've been doing my invites. I've been doing my stories and all of that, but I haven't really shaped my complete story. And I think it's because I've been trying to hide some of it, just because I have family on on Facebook and stuff. So I made a big post about it last night and shared more details than I have in the past, and just put it on Instagram because I don't have family on Instagram. And so I got a huge response from that, and Instagram is what I use for the most part anyway. But I like storytelling was the theme. So everything I went to, we talked about storytelling. And then it talked about, I went to the leadership group, or the leadership training. And so, it was talking about sharing your journey, but also talking about coaching, talking about what you're doing and building your tribe. So, they basically said, talk like you're talking to your grandma. Like if your grandma said, what is this coaching thing? How would you explain it? Because sometimes I feel like when I explain stuff, I explain it and another Beachbody coach may understand it, or someone who's done Beachbody, but not someone who has no idea what it is. So I've been trying to be more obvious with it. And then another thing was keep your post about your story, and then keep all the background stuff like sales, promotions, that kind of stuff, put it in your story. So if a challenger sends me a message about how much their life has changed, I'll screenshot it, color the name out, put it on your post. On your story. That way people are actually seeing that. And then one of them that really spoke to me is they were talking about having a family and growing your team culture and a vision for your team. So I've been inviting basically anyone I think that would sign up to coach, but I've not been inviting people to coach that I would honestly be 100% friends with. And that's what I want out of it, is to have a tribe and a family, and we're BFFs, and when we leave, we cry because we don't want to leave each other, and that's what I want. So I've actually kind of revamped the way that I message people. So I had just a copy and paste message, and now it's been more personable. Hey, I know this is weird, but I've been looking for someone that can be my BFF and be a coach on my team, and explain what it means and why I think we would be friends. And I've gotten a huge response from that. So it's basically, messaging people that you're going to be friends with and just growing it, because we do it to help and support each other, but you want to have fun along the way. I want to have pizza parties when we go to summit and retreats and all of that kind of thing. And so just being more of a team. So that's kind of my takeaway from it.
I love when he said, speak like you're talking to your grandma. Because, yeah, we think it's so run-of-the-mill. Oh, we're just Beachbody coaches. You should know what that is, right? No, people are freaking clueless. So talk like it's your grandma. Thanks, Mallory. We have one more person who wants to share. Don't make me call somebody out.
Do it.
Awesome. Kristen, right?
Yes.
Okay, you got it.
For me, to kind of piggyback on what Carrie was saying, when people are like, what's a Beachbody coach? Or when my mom's like, here's my daughter, she's a Beachbody coach. I have, for the past year, kind of showed away like, oh, it's nothing but this little thing. And Summit made me feel a pride in it and a sense of like urgency to share it. I think the biggest takeaway from me is that I can run an awesome challenge group. Like, I am good at doing that, at getting people energized and like having those back conversations to make people a successful challenger. And now it's like, okay, that's checked off. Now focus on the next part to actually help yourself. So that was my main takeaway, is just to be proud of what I'm doing, because it makes me proud. So why not share it with pride?
Absolutely. I think we all kind of, and I know I did, even when it became my full-time job, I'm like, yeah, I'm a Beachbody coach, you know, but I think like just being around that energy, going to Summit, going to Super, like Sunday, Saturdays, going to events, like it just makes this like, damn right, I'm a freaking Beachbody coach and I'm proud of it. So I'm glad that, I think that's like the vibe that everyone that went kind of got. So it's nice that we're getting, the people that didn't go are getting that too. So thanks. All right, ladies, thank you so much for hopping on. If everyone that can show their picture, and we'll take a picture for Instagram or whatever. Is everyone on? All right, 1, 2, 3. Lovely. I'll try and tag as many people as I can. All right, ladies, thanks so much. I'll post a recording in the team page, and let's get pumped. We have, I mean, so much stuff to get excited for. Just because Summit ended, this is just the beginning. So get ready. It's going to get even better. And I appreciate and love all you guys. And I'm so sad that I missed it. But hopefully I'll see you guys real soon. All right. Have a good night. Yeah, Aaron. It's Year's Gonna Rock.